name is Jamie. Some of you may recognise me as your tour guide from Central Australia. Some of you may recognise me as your friend. Some of you may not even recognise me at all. But the reason I am doing this video is because I am going to introduce you to something which has become very, very close to my heart over the last 7 months or so. Now, a year ago, I actually decided to go over to Australia, and eventually I was very, very lucky to get or gain a position as a tour guide there in Central Australia out of Alice Springs. Now, part of that role was to learn about Aboriginal culture. Now, for me, this was a real defining moment in my life. It was something that I became absolutely fascinated by. Aboriginal culture in Australia has thought to be around about 70,000 years old, and that does make them the oldest continuing culture on the planet, ladies and gentlemen. The Aboriginal people are descendants of the first sort of wave of migrations that came out from Africa, thought to be in Ethiopia. Now, they've been able to keep their culture really, really strong, and the reason for that is because they're very, very spiritual. They believe in their connection to the land. Their spirit comes from it and it passes back into it, and that's why they look after the land and, of course, look after each other. Now, for me, it's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege to be able to see Aboriginal communities and be able to gain an insight into one of the most fascinating cultures on the planet. And it's really given me a sense of belonging and a sense of what's right on the planet. Now, Aboriginal people have this term in Central Australia and Pitjantjatjara country. They use this term Nappaji 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 Nappaji. Now, this loosely translates to I give, you give, so it's kind of like a karma system, and it really does define them as people because they don't have financial, or they don't have money. They have a trading system which they've used for thousands of years. They have very, very strong spirituality to the land and to look after one another. Now, this Nappaji Nappaji system has been applied and used for many, many thousands of years, and is probably one of the key aspects in their survival. The pursuit of looking after each other, looking after water holes, looking after food, regenerating the land, encouraging animals to come back to certain spots, and of course they are nomadic people. The advances in technology and the want for material possessions, the want for money, the want for financial independence has really separated us from our existence, from the important things in life. Now, I've been separated from my family for about a year, from my girlfriend for about a year now as well, and that has really, coupled with learning about the Aboriginal culture and finding my way in life, if you want, through Australia and New Zealand and through Asia as well, has really sort of highlighted what's important in life to me. Very, very small things like a hug, a kiss, having dinner with your family, those things are the most important things in the world. They really, really are. The reason why I'm going to talk about Aboriginal culture and really highlight some of the key wonderful things about Aboriginal people is to really try and take a small portion of their civilization and really try and apply it into our own lives for the benefit of mankind. Try and live in the moment and appreciate what you've got at that exact time, because you never know when it's going to be gone forever. Hopefully you'll take something from these videos that I'm going to be doing, and yeah, give me some feedback, and it's been a pleasure. So look after yourselves and keep living the dream. Always. Take care, Jamie. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jamie and I am a tour guide here in Central Australia, the heartbeat of this beautiful nation. I just thought I'd do a quick video for you guys and talk a little bit about Aboriginal culture here in Australia and the impact that the Europeans had when they first arrived here. But to go back to the beginning, during my time here is 5 months ago. I've had a lot of questions since then about the Aboriginal culture, and of course there is a common misconception between both cultures and different ideologies, and I've discovered that in my time here that there's been a real lack of understanding between the two cultures. There's a lot of common questions that I get asked, so I thought I'd try and answer a few of these questions today in this short video. So to go back to the beginning, that's where we start our journey. Now, human civilization started over in Africa, somewhere in Ethiopia, around about 150,000 years ago. That's modern humans, of course. Now, it is thought that the original Australians, or the first Australians, actually made their way across land bridges over thousands of years and eventually ended up here in the Great Southern Land, also known today as, of course, the beautiful continent of Australia. Now, this journey took them many thousands of years, and there's been various evidence found by archaeologists and also anthropologists, historians. There's been a huge amount of debate about the length of time in which they have actually inhabited this beautiful continent. Now, there have been ranges from around about 20,000 years up to 40,000, but it's now been argued that they could have been here for up to 70,000 years. Now, that makes them the oldest continuing culture on the planet. Now, the reason they think that Aboriginal people have inhabited this beautiful continent for this huge amount of time, 70,000 years, is due to a study that was done on a 100-year-old lock of hair that belonged to an Aboriginal elder in Western Australia. Now, that was in the 1920s. DNA sequencing has found that he was related to the first people that migrated out of Africa and ended up here in Australia. So it must be pretty impressive, or quite a proud thing to be able to say that I am actually a descendant from the oldest living culture on the planet. Now, Aboriginal people are very, very spiritual. They're very connected to the land. Now, the main difference that I like to sort of highlight between us as Westerners and Aboriginal people is basically the difference in ideas. So we as Westerners, we buy land, we own it, you build farms, you build houses. That is your property. That is how we survive, that's how we grow. We go to school, we learn, we have tests constantly, and we are graded. Now, in Aboriginal culture, it's completely different. Now, they believe in something called the creation time. Some of you might know it as the dream time, which is a concept which a couple of anthropologists by the name of Gillen and Spencer arrived at when they studied people from the Arunda nation over, if anyone's been to Alice Springs, you would have been in Arunda country. Now, why were they so successful? Well, there's many sort of answers to this question, but in my opinion, it was because of their spiritual nature. The fact that everybody had a role in the Aboriginal society, everybody had their purpose, and food was always shared. Their terrific spirit and ethic of natural human survival and the ability to look after each other is one of the greatest human stories, in my opinion, of all time. It's something which I think we as Westerners can all take something from and learn from.